Hi and welcome to WarHQ. My name is Lucius. On today's battle report, what we have installed for you is the Imperial Fists versus the Emperor's Children Chaos Space Marines. So in the last battle report, the Chaos Space Marines trounced the Iron Elder, and in this one, they're continuing on in the round in this 1,500 point modified battle that we've been having. I've been running a series of these videos, so this is part 3. In that video series, and the winner of this will go on to face a mysterious opponent, which is yet undetermined. Well, it's not undetermined, I know what it is, but you don't. So if you have any ideas of what that might be, write them down below, and I'll let you know if you're right, I guess. But as you guys know with this one, what I'm trying to do here is get a fairly balanced board, and there's a primary objective and 2 secondary objectives. So the base of each opponent is worth 2 points. Take it or hold it, I guess you'd say. And then there's 2 secondary objectives worth 1 point each. So 1 point for each of those by the end of round 3. So it's very simple, dropping all the other sort of rules just for speed of play. Now, keep in mind, I'm filming this one pretty solo by myself, as I have been over this period. So let me know if there's any mistakes I make down below. Sometimes I miss things, and I do apologise for that. But, it's more about just getting into it and having fun, filming a fun game for you guys to watch. So, yeah, let's see how we go. If you like this kind of content, though, please consider becoming a subscriber to this channel. It really means a lot to us here at the channel. It takes you a second to do. Also, like and comment if you can. These things all help the YouTube algorithm. Our epic stuff's pretty popular, I guess you'd say. We'd like to continue growing it, so thank you. But for now, let's get started. Okay, so we have the Imperial Fists in this 1,500 point tournament. This is a pretty basic sort of setup I've got here. It's mainly all armoured. The centerpiece, I guess, is this fell blade. It's got 2 of these Accelerator Cannons. It's got 2 lots of quad lasers, a whole bunch of other armament. It's really hard to kill. So just a bit of a beast all round, so that's sort of the centerpiece. And then this is backed up by 4 Land Raiders. Land Raiders, as you know, pretty good. We've got 4 Whirlwinds over here, a bit of artillery support. We have a unit of 5 Land Speeders. And these ones are the Tornado variants. So the Tornado variants have like a cannon and a heavy bolter. Really good against infantry. I figure I've got a lot of tank stuff, so these things are going to be moving in and shooting infantry, I guess, rapidly. And then we have 1 squad down here, Tactical Marines. Now, these guys have Rhino Transport, but they also have 2 Razorbacks with las cannons. So that is the Imperial Fist team. So before us here, we have the Emperor's Children Battle Force, 1,500 points. This one is pretty interesting. We have a Questa Titan, so just a little baby Titan over here, which is pretty handy against things. We have a unit of Predators, so we've got 5 of those, over strength. 3 divisions, so we've got 1 of Noise Marines here, all with Rhinos. There's 7 of those. We've got 1 over here, which is 3 Rhinos and 6 Chaos Space Marines, and we have 6 Chaos Space Marines down here, and we have a Land Raider attached to them as well, so they're on foot, basically. And that is our Emperor's Children force. So Imperial Fists have a strategy rating of 5, and they get a 6, and the Emperor's Children have a 4, they get an 8. So the Emperor's Children will win the initiative. Alright, so we can see the deployment here before us. We have the Imperial Fists up the top corner, and the Emperor's Children down the bottom corner. So what we've done here is the Imperial Fists have all sort of clustered up over here, all their armor division ready to pounce out and strike, and the Emperor's Children, similarly over here, have taken a bit of a... Well, they've got all their transports on one side, and they've got all their armoured heavy stuff on the other side, and looks like a base defence unit. So let's see how this goes as we get started. Okay, activation 1, the Emperor's Children have moved 1 of their retinues down into these buildings beside their thing and captured this objective. Pretty easy move. Deciding to play a little cautiously, the Imperial Fists move their first unit of their Tactical Marines and unload them on these hills. And this is the hills near the objective of the enemy. Try and stall the enemy out. The Emperor's Children have basically just overwatched with this unit back at the home here. The Imperial Fists, in return, just park their Land Raiders up in behind this terrain feature in the center of the board. Emperor's Children Predator tanks do a little bit of a sneaky move around this extreme flank over here. It's kind of near over this way. You've got the other objective, but they're just keeping a low profile. Okay, both teams are kind of stalling each other out, tempting their big things to move. But these guys, in their last-ditch effort to not do anything, have gone on Overwatch with these whirlwinds. Okay, and a pretty bold move, running out of moves. The Quester Titan has come up, and he's found a bit of a vantage point to get a shot on these Land Raiders. Not the easiest shot. They are in cover, but if you have a look through here, you can shoot through here and get both of these. So they are in cover, but they will be coming under fire. Now the range these guys are at will determine what I've got. So okay, we're looking at 45. So most of the Quester's weapons are going to be okay. Well, all of the Quester's weapons can unload on those two Land Raiders. So let's see how we go. They're at a -1 for cover, obviously. So the Quester Titan, it has two main battle cannons, which are AT4, which go to AT5. So the main battle cannons, that's one hit and one miss. All right, and now we have the Castigator Cannon, so it's 6 shots. Normally AT5, they go to AT6. And let's roll those babies. Oh, all miss, that's hideous. Okay, so we just have one hit, and that is from our main cannon. The Land Raider has a armor of 4, and it saves. Ouch. So that didn't pay off too well. So in response to this, the Fellblade has come out of hiding. He's come over here next to his Land Raider buddies. Pretty slow, actually, so he had to do a double move to get to here. And the Quester Titan's over here, so presenting a bit of a nasty target. Now, he is within 45 centimeter range, so he can fire with his 2 Accelerator Cannons and his 2 lots of quad lasers. So it's going to be at -1 because of the double move. So let's see how we go. So the Accelerator Cannons, they're a macro weapon 3+, so they go to a 4+. Both miss. That's not good. And then we have 2 lots of quad lasers. Normally an AT4, they go to AT5. So we're looking at 8 shots, which is pretty big. 5s to hit. Okay, got a few hits there. So we've got 1, 2, 3 hits. So first thing that happens is the Quester Titan has 2 void shields. They are removed. So its shields go down. And then it comes under fire, obviously, and has to save one of these attacks that hit it. So Quester Titan has a armor value of 5. Fails, but it is reinforced, so it gets another go at trying to do that, and fails again. Alright, so it also takes 1 point of damage, and receives 2 blast markers for its troubles. Okay, in an ultra defensive maneuver, I'm super terrified of the land speeders that could take these things out. These guys just unload and go on to a Overwatch order for this squad, so they're right there. Anything, those land speeders now try and come and grab them and shoot them. They could probably get to shoot first with their missile launchers, so let's see how that goes. Right, land speeders decide to be a little bit tricky, and they parch themselves up here within 45 of these, out of the 30 centimeter range of the missile launchers and stuff. And what they're going to do is they're only going to fire their cannons, so they're not going to fire the twin bolters, heavy bolters, so they're just going to fire the auto cannons, so they get 1 shot each. They did a single move, and they're firing into cover, so it's still 6s to hit, but they're just going to take a pot shot and try and regain this in the next turn. Oh, but it's not bad. So what we've got there is 2 hits. 2 hits against these guys. They're in cover, but their armor is actually better than the cover, so they go to just a 4-up save. So just the first 2 guys here, 4-up save. Both fail, which does not look good for them. So Chaos Space Marines, yeah, they have no ability to resave that. It's about as bad as they could have rolled. And they lose 2 guys. Ouch. So 2 guys go down, and they also receive 3 blast markers over here. So at the end of turn 1, we can see the displacement of the forces here. A lot of Emperor's Children hanging here. The Predators have come around this flank, and they are holding this point currently. A lot of concentration of Imperial Fists over here, and all the armoured battalions are behind here. Whirlwinds in reserve. So it's going to be an interesting turn too. A lot more action. Just a bit of a wrap up for this turn. Quest of Titan rolls and removes its, halves its blast markers, which is good. The Land Raiders remove theirs. And the only other unit to come under fire was these guys in the buildings. Oh yeah, roll a 6, that's great. So they go back down to 1 blast marker over here as well with their rally. And that is the Moralphos. Super important turn to win. The Imperial Fists, all rolled on 11. Cannot be beaten on that. And the Emperor's Children, doesn't matter what they roll, get an 8. So Imperial Fists are going to go first. In a shocking move, the Fellblade decides to sustain fire and shoot over here at the Quest of Titan, which could spell its doom, I'd say. So the 2 Accelerator Cannons have a macro weapon 3, so they go to 2 to hit. Okay, both hit. That's nasty. And then it has 8 shots with its quad laser beams. So it's got 8 shots, normally 4 ups, so going to 3s. I think this is going to obliterate this thing. That's that, and it doesn't get to shoot its Demolisher or its Twin Bolters because they're not in range. But we have, so 6 hits from those and 2 hits from the macro weapons. So problem we have here is it's got a 5-up armor save. And what are we sitting on? We are sitting on, it's got a 3 damage capacity, so it can only take 2 hits. If it doesn't save one of these, it's dead from the main cannon. So it saves 1, fails 1. So it goes to 2 hit points. So it's got 1 left. So this is bad. Now it's going to make 6 reinforced saving throws of 5, 6. Alright, so it saves 3, and 3 go through. So any one of these go through, and the Quest of Titan is toast. Oh, nearly did it. Saved 1 and failed 2. So Quest of Titan holds out as long as it can, but boom, gets popped by the Fellblade. Okay, Imperial Fists trying to retain the initiative. And they do. Okay, so after seizing the initiative, the land speeders zap in from the side there, and they decide to blast these guys in the cover. And this is what we're worried about in the first place, I guess. So now they've got a whole bunch of attacks. So they've got 5 shots. Actually, they're all AP 5. They have 2 shots each. So it's 10 shots. So 10 shots at AP 5. Actually, shooting into cover, so AP 6. So let's go see what we can do. Okay. Ouch, that hurt. So we only got 1 hit out of all of that. And saving throw makes it. So this just goes to that. So we just have a 2 on the blast markers now. And that was a bit of a failed mission. Okay, so the Predators come out of hiding. And what they're doing there is, there's 2 targets here, and there's a possibility I could kill the Fellblade, but the Land Raiders actually haven't been yet. So what they're going to do instead is shoot at the Land Raiders. So they've got an AT-4 with their twin las cannons, and then they have 2 blast masters as well, which will be an AT-6. So let's do the main tank cannons first. So they've got 5 of those, needing 4s. Okay, so we've got 3 hits. 3 hits with the main battle cannons. And then each of these guys has 2 blast masters, sorry. So that's another 10 shots. Just get 1 more dice. Okay, so we've got 10 shots at AT-6. So AT-6, 10 shots. Let's roll, baby. Okay, so we've got another 2 hits there. And that is that. So what we're going to do is the first one will have 2 shots assigned against it, and then the other 3 all have 1 each. So let me go. So these are reinforced. The Land Raiders have a 4-up save. So he makes 1, fails 1, the first guy, and then he has a reinforced and makes it. And then the other 3 all got a save, all fail, and 1 fails. So after all of that, 1 dies. Okay, which gives a sum total of 2 blast markers to these guys. And 1 dead tank. The Emperor's children seek to retain the initiative, and they easily do. And what they've done is they've assaulted these land speeders. So 2 land speeders here are locked into combat, being this one and this one. These 3 don't consolidate, they just stay there. Everything else moved up. So I've got 4 units of Marines in combat, supported by 3 of these, and then we've got these 2 in close combat, these 2 in firing range. So let's see how this rolls. Alright, so moving right along with this assault, we have, so we'll start with the 4 Marines here. We have 4 normal attacks. These 4 normal attacks are at a 4 up, I would say. Yes, they are, 4 up. Okay, so 1 hits out of those. Now we have a leader, a Chaos Lord, with a demonic weapon, so he's got another attack. Oh, that's a shame that missed, because it was a macro weapon. And then we have 3 Rhinos. All miss. That is pretty bad, actually. So that's only 1 hit against the Imperial Fists. Now, those guys have a 4+ save, so I'll take that straight away, and makes it, so they don't even lose a single model. Pretty poor assault, but let's see what the land speeders can do back. So they are skimmers, so they can use their firefight ability, which is what they will do, these 2 in combat, so it's a 5 up, 1 hit, and then we have another 3 that are shooting anyway at 5 up, and that's 2 hits. Okay, so we have 2 saving throws required on these 2 guys here, and they're both 4 ups. 1 makes it, 1 fails. So 1 dies, which hurts their life, and let's go and resolve this. Okay, looking at what we got here, the Emperor's children. So let me see what they've got on their assault modifier. No kills. They had more units, they still do. They've got 6 versus 5, so that's +1. Don't have twice as much. They had blast markers. Enemy, no. So, okay, so that's a bit of an issue. We have just a +1 for the Emperor's children. 7, no. Oof. That's going to be hard to beat, actually. So then we move over to the Imperial Fists. So they killed 1, so that's +1. And they also had no blast markers. And the enemy has more blast markers. So formation had no blast markers, check, and enemy had none, so it's +3 to this roll. 6. Alright, so we've got 7 versus 9, so that's a deficit of 2, which means that the Emperor's Children force is broken. They lose 2 models from the force on the retreat, so they'll choose these 2. And from the difference between the 2 dice rolls, so the 9 and the 7, and then these guys will retreat. So these Land Raiders will be activating, and they're going to be shooting at the Predator tanks. So what we have is a pretty cool situation here. Okay, I think what they're going to do is sustain fire from this range. So they will lose, like with the Imperial Fist being Space Marines, it takes 2 blast markers to suppress 1 unit. So that unit's suppressed, and you've only got these 2 Land Raiders firing. But they will all be at +1 to hit, which is a bit of a bonus. So those 2, they have 2 lots of twin las cannons, which are AT4, which go to AT3. So that's 4 attacks at AT3. 3 of those hit. So they're over there. And then we have, with the Land Raiders, we have the twin bolters. No, they can't do anything. So, alright, so they've got 3 shots that have landed between those 2. And these guys have to make a saving throw of 4 up, which isn't reinforced, sorry. So let's hope they roll well. Nope. Oof. Okay, they make 1, fail 2. So 2 Predator tanks go to hell. Ba-boom, ba-boom. Those 2. And they also receive 3 blast markers for their troubles, which breaks them, which isn't good. And then they retreat. Okay, so in a bit of a bold move, the Noise Marines mount up, do a single move, and then dismount into these buildings, onto this objective, and fire upon these land speeders. So start with the Rhinos, have a 6 to hit. We've got 1 hit out of 4. And then we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 7 attacks with the Noise Marines. Now they, let me see here. Yeah, so they disrupt as well. So every hit from these Noise Marines will cause a disruption. So a blast marker. So let me see, they've got an AT of 6 with their Blast Masters. So there's 7 attacks. Kind of need a bit of a miracle here. Things aren't going so well. Okay, so that is two hits. That's all they achieved, which is pretty poor. But that one is a hit. It'll be a blast marker regardless. So they're already come under fire, been hit, and then have that extra blast marker. So they're already on 2. So if they can kill 2 of these, then they will break them. So the land speeders have a 4-up save, and that's it. So let's go. Oh, they both save. So that's all that happens, is they just get 2 blast markers. Bit of a fail. Okay, in response, the Imperial Fists move their whirlwinds over to this objective. They're pretty safe with the base, I guess, so they've sort of abandoned that. Being left with pretty little option and trying to stall the game out to a possible round 4, this home defense team, they just go Overwatch again. In a hopes that they can sort of get the better of in the next turn and get an Overwatch fire upon the enemy. The Imperial Fists decide to get a little bit nasty, and they run down this fleeing unit of Emperor's Children, and they just unload everything into it. So they've got a few units here. So the Razorbacks, they've got AT4 attacks, so that's obviously against the Rhinos. They'll use those, so both hit on the Rhino. And then we have 2 units of Rhinos. That's another hit against personnel there. And then we have 6 units just at shooting. So we've got the Tactical Marines, just have a 4-up. There's 6 of those. All right, so what do we got here? We've got, so the Rhino has taken 2 hits. So how this will work is, of course they are broken already, these guys. We'll do our hits as normal, and then any blast markers received will cause additional hits with no saving throws, so extra casualties. So I'd say it's probably going to wipe the whole unit. That's the idea. So the Rhino has to make a save. It's dead anyway with the first lot of hits, and that's already 2 blast markers it's taken. And then the other guys, that's pretty much, so 2, 2, and 1. So first guy dead, second guy dead, last guy dead anyway, so kills every single one of them, so they get obliterated. So that was a pretty good move. These guys come up and just totally destroyed them. End of turn 2 here, we've got a bit of a bad situation going on for the Emperor's Children, getting just destroyed everywhere. This is pretty secure up here. The Predators have all fled to over here. They had a go, but didn't work. Whirlwinds come up to get this objective. We've got land speeders in here on this objective. The Noise Marines are trying to secure this, and these guys down here are really just trying to stall because the Emperor's Children don't have much left at this stage. It's looking like an almost total walkover at this point. The cleanup phase here, so the Land Raiders take the morale test and they reduce that back to 1. Okay, these Predators need to come out of being routed basically, so they need a good roll. They roll a 1 and fail. That is not good. That's really bad. Actually, they don't need that. And then finally over here, the land speeders take a roll. They've got enemy within 30, but they still make it, so they go down to 1 as well. And that'll be the end of turn 2. Very important initiative roll, the Imperial Fists. Oh, okay, they've got 11, they can't be beaten. So yep, Imperial Fists go first, and this could strike complete disaster. Okay, so Imperial Fists start with the land speeders. And normally there'd be 1 down, but with that 1 blast marker, but it's 2 to suppress any of their units, so they're pretty groovy. Now they have a whole bunch. They're going to sustain fire against this Noise Marine unit over here to try and get some nastiness on it. So normally they're shooting into cover again, so it's +1, -1 as per usual. So what they will do, let me see here. Basically they got 10 shots. So let's do it. We'll put, I suppose, yeah, with their cannons, they can put them down this way into the, because they can skim and hover, so they can look down on these. These aren't in cover. So let's put the cannons into the Rhinos, which will be AT5, which goes to 4 because they're not in cover. So let's do that first. So 5 shots, so 2 hits. Okay, and 2 saving throws from the rhinos, both fail. So that'll be 2 dead rhinos. Oh, well, probably from the other side, actually. So, yeah, it doesn't matter. These 2 are dead. Okay, and then they've got another 5 shots, which I'll put down into this infantry down in here with their twin heavy bolters. At 5 ups to hit, that's 3. Okay, and we've got 4 saving throws. Oh my god, that is hideous. So they all fail. So it's another 3 deaths. This looks like a complete rout, actually. So 3 deaths there. So we've only got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 left, and that's 6 blast markers, so that breaks them. Huh. Just what you want in your last turn, hey? 6 blast markers, and they'll be bugging out. Imperial Fists attempt to retain the initiative, and do. They move their Fellblade, double move over to there. So we're shooting at a -1, but he's shooting into these broken guys over here. So pretty bad all round. Now, is he within 30? He is. So he's going to get to shoot everything. And then same thing, these guys are broken. So every blast marker, even if they do manage to survive somehow, every blast marker will take out another one as they flee. So let's have a look at this Fellblade. So he's got macro weapon 3, which goes to 4. He's got 2 Accelerator Cannons. 1 hits. So that's already a kill because macro weapon. So 1's already dead. And then we have 8 attacks with the quad lasers. So let me see here, 1 more dice. So these are normally AT4, they go to 5. So we've got another hit, 1 hit, that was pretty bad out of all that. And then they have the Demolisher as well. Let me see what that is. The Demolisher has an AT4, goes to 5. It's just 1 attack. And it's a miss as well. So 1 saving throw, a 4 up over here. Makes it. Okay, so, but the problem here is they lost 1, and they came under fire, so got 2 blast markers, which destroys the other 2, so the whole unit's destroyed. Now, being the last unit left, these guys really have no choice, and they just do an Overwatch move again, and that will be the entire turn for the Emperor's Children. Now, the game is won at this point, but we're just doing this bit for fun, as the last Imperial Fist forces come in and just decimate these guys. So what's happened is the Imperial Fists have rolled into 30, and then these guys have decided to use Overwatch. So that'll trigger this, and then all of their missile launchers as well, so they'll get to shoot that first. And that'll be at their actual tanks. So we'll see. I've got the units out just because what will happen is they were loaded up inside their vehicles, so I've got them in front of the vehicles that they were in, just in case they get destroyed, which they probably will. But it's just for fun, this one, since it's a bit total walkover as it is. They got a bit too zealous, let's just call it that. Okay, so the Imperial Fist Land Raider has the first shot. He does an AT4. He's got 2 of these with the twin las cannons. So here we go. We've got 1 hit there. Now it has twin blast markers as well. Blast masters, sorry. Which is AT5. It's got 1 of those. So here's another attack. It misses. Okay, so that's that guy. Then we've got 6 units of Chaos Space Marines. All have autocannons. So they've got AT6s. They have 6 attacks there. And they have 1 hit from that. Okay, so looking at this, we've got these 2 are our first 2 targets. So let's go into this first Rhino, which just has a save of 5 up. So the first Rhino saves. No, it doesn't, so it dies. And then these 2 guys have to make saving throws of 4 up. 1 dies, 1 lives. Okay, and then this guy has to make a saving throw. He saves. So what happened there is they come in, this guy gets popped, he jumps out, then all of these guys jump out at range as well, but they lost 2 units, which gives them 3 blast markers. Which is, if they didn't do that, then the Imperial Fist would have lost almost nothing. 1 Land Raider so far. Anyway, so these guys pop out. That's the end of that Overwatch. Now these guys get to fire back. 1 unit is is taken out. So I'm going to just use this one with the blast markers because it's 2 per one. Okay, so then the rest of these guys can fire. So I've got, let's go the las cannon Razorbacks. They're going to shoot at the, obviously going to shoot at the Land Raider, 4-ups. 1 hit on the Land Raider. Okay. And then what I'm going to do with all the others, so that was those two. We've got the Rhino. I'll do that. Everything else is going to the personnel. Rhino misses. And then we have 5 units at 4-ups shooting at the infantry. Okay, so we've got 3 hits from the infantry as well. So we've got 1 saving throw to make on the Land Raider and 3 on the infantry. So let's go. So this guy, Land Raider, he makes it. So he's okay. And then units over here, 2 make it and 1 fails. So it could have been a lot worse. They do receive 2 blast markers for their troubles. But they won't be dead. So 1 guy is dead. And 2 blast markers, so they're still holding strong. So if they can hold this, it won't be a complete loss, I guess, although it's looking that way. Okay, so Land Raiders have done a double move, so they'll be at -1 to hit, and they're going to smash into this stuff to try and finish it off. So the Land Raiders have the twin las cannons, so there's all 3 of them are okay. They've only got 1 blast marker. So what we're doing here is, that's 6 shots. Okay, those 6 shots, yeah, they are an AT shot, so they have to go into the Land Raider. So 6 shots should be able to finish it off, one would think. It's at -1, so it's going to be 5s to hit. Only 1 hit, that's a bit of a nasty one. Okay, so the Land Raider doesn't save, and then Reinforced saves. And then they have 3 other shots with their twin heavy bolters, AP4 shots. So they've got 3 of those. They want to be doing something with these, you would hope. It's only 1 hit, and saves, he saves. So all they do is they take 1 blast marker. That was actually exceptionally bad. It's a tough call here with these whirlwinds. They haven't fired a shot all game, but they are holding this point. They could do a double move and then try and bomb the guys at the base, but they might fail and then lose this objective over here. So what they're going to do instead is they're just going to hold here and pretty much finish the game on that. So just a morale sort of line up here. These guys, yep, they make that and they remove that blast marker. These guys are within 30 of an enemy now, so they've got a -1 to their roll. But they still make it and halve this back to 1. The Land Raiders are within 30 of an enemy, but still make that and remove the last blast marker that they have. Now this one's important, I guess. These guys are within 30 of the enemy. They make their roll, then they fail. That sucks. And then the broken formation lastly, not within 30 of an enemy, but -2 to their roll. They make it. So they come out of that and they're on 3. So we actually have, if there was a turn 4, then it'd be a last stand basically around their base. So as you can see here at the end of turn 3, it's a complete and utter rout. I'd say a complete dismal failure for the Emperor's Children. The Imperial Fists own everything except their base. So the Whirlwinds are holding this, the Land Speeders are holding this, they've got infantry, Land Raiders, and they've got a Fellblade all coming up on these broken remnants, or well, not broken, but they're hurt remnants of the Emperor's Children force. So really all the Imperial Fist lost was a Land Raider, a Rhino, and 1 unit of Marines. So that's what I can call complete decimation. When you look at what these guys lost over here, they lost pretty much most things except these last remnants of these 2 squads. So that is the roundup, and it is a victory of 4-2 to the Imperial Fist. So if it would have gone to a turn 4, obviously I think these guys would have got murdered by everything coming in, and it would have been a complete victory. But of course they managed to hold out for the end of the game. It wasn't total devastation, it was 4-2. So there we have that particular battle report. As you can see, pretty quick one really. I didn't expect the Imperial Fist to just steamroll over the Emperor's Children like that. I've played a lot of games with Emperor's Children. I don't think we've actually lost with them yet. Like, they seem to win everything that we do. So but for now, that's pretty decisive. They only lost 3 units, so you'd call that a walkover. A lot of bad rolling on the Emperor's Children part, and a lot of bad saving throws is what really broke them in the end, I think. If some of those other units could have held out, it could have been a different result, but losing that Questa early and some bad dice rolls in return, trying to attack, sort of yeah, munted their plan a little. But you can see there that stalling for initiative and not always doing double initiative, especially in the first turn, like making the enemy always have to move first, is a really good thing. And then when you get that advantage, say like in turn 2 and 3, then you start doing your double initiatives to really try and push home and take advantage where you can. And that's really how the Imperial Fists win. They did win the last 2 turns of Initiative 2, which really helped. Could have been maybe slightly different if the Emperor's Children's could have won that second and third turn of initiative. Maybe something might have been slightly different, but who knows. It looks like they just got overwhelmed by a superior force at the end of the day. But that's our battle reports for today. Next one I'll try and do a little bit quicker, a turnaround. I've got that 5th Army in the works, so we'll get that one rolling on the same table, and then that'll be the last of those, and then we'll just go to some normal battle reports, and then maybe some faction breakdowns as well. My 3D printer is working again, so I have been rolling that puppy out pretty hard lately, so there'll be a little bit more work from that as well. But for now, we're WarHQ, you're you. Stay classy, baby, and we'll see you next time.